Hello and welcome. Today I want to address a question from somebody who's been watching regular and putting comments down there regular. And by the way, I appreciate that very much. Super Z Patrick, this was your question. You said you described yourself as an older performer. You wanted me to address the issue of the older magician and where older magicians might find a niche. You mentioned in your comment, I didn't read the entire comment here, but you mentioned that you entertained at retirement centers. I also have done retirement centers. They're a lot of fun to do because there are two audiences that I think love magic. One is the older audience, and the other is the youngest audience. When I perform for kids from the age of 4 up to teen years, I enjoy it. I enjoy it because their enthusiasm is there. I don't have to pull teeth. I don't have to work very hard to get them to be engaged. They're already engaged when I walk out. I mean, it's wonderful performing for an audience that is so filled with life and enthusiasm. And when I go into a retirement center and I'm performing for people at the retirement center, one of the things I like about big retirement centers is they have theaters. They have full theaters. So it's a full theatrical setting. I can perform for audiences sometimes of 200 and 300 in these places. And these audiences are what I like to do. And this is my own personal preference. I like to have an interactive show. And I like to present historic material, very much the way what you see here is what I often do in a retirement center. I remember once I did a lecture on Dellman and Dellman's contributions to magic. Now, you'd think, well, that's something a magician would be interested in. Why don't you do that for magicians? Well, the audiences that you perform for in these places are extremely intelligent. They have been around, they've been around. And they really respond well to historical subject matter. So I'll give them a history lesson, and they just love it. So when I do those types of shows, a lot of my presentation is historic. And they start asking questions, and they're engaged, and it's really exciting to do. But I want to address the bigger question here, because the question is, if you're an older magician, where is your niche, right? What is the right magic for you? In addition to being a magician, I'm also a professional human resource director, human resource professional. And as a human resource professional, I want to say to you and everybody else, regardless of your personal demographic, you should not be eliminating possibilities for yourself. I want to encourage you to pursue the magic that you're passionate about. Pursue the life that you're passionate about. As long as you're healthy, as long as you're strong, as long as you are able, do what you love. Don't let anything stand in your way. If you want to do birthday parties for kids and you're 70 or you're 80, do them. If you want to perform in retirement centers and you're 20 or 30, do it. If you want to do a full stage show, now let me give you a little personal information here. I did a full stage show. I did a Grand Illusion show. I don't want to do that anymore. And part of the reason I don't want to do that anymore, well, primarily my tastes have changed. In 1998, my partner Jill left the show. I tried to replace her. I was not able to. I started looking around for other types of magic that I could do as a solo performer that I could really embrace. And I remembered as a child loving mentalism and asking Phil Thomas, my then mentor, if I could study mentalism and if he would sell me mentalism. And he said no. He said, you're too young. No one would give you any credibility as a mentalist. You're 10. Well, actually, I've seen 10-year-old mentalists, and they done pretty well. So I'm not sure that was the best advice, but he wanted me to study classic magic, and I did for many, many years, and that's where my focus was. But I always had a love for mentalism. So here I was at a crossroads, and I came back to mentalism. And now, at the age of 60, I'm glad that I'm not moving heavy props. When you do an illusion show, you've got a truck full of equipment, sound equipment, stage equipment, illusions, and it's heavy. So it's physical labor to do a big show. And so that's part of the benefit of being a mentalist, is I'm not carrying that much equipment around anymore. But I also love mentalism because of the plots and because of the engagement with the audience. To me, it's more significant to read someone's mind or to have them read someone else's mind. The engagement I get out of that versus doing the cups and balls or the linking rings is so much more. So that's where I found my niche, and that's what I do. But whatever your interest is, if you want to do trade shows, that, by the way, that is arguably the most lucrative area of magic. It's also the most grueling and the most difficult. If you're going to do corporate magic, it helps if you have a sales background. It helps if you understand marketing, because your role is going to be to promote the product, image, or brand of the company that's hiring you. And if you're doing trade shows, you're going to do that for 10 hours a day. You're going to be on your feet 10 hours a day, promoting and pitching, drawing people into that booth, and so that you or the salespeople can make the deal. So there are pros and cons with every avenue of performing. If you're doing restaurant magic, you're on your feet quite a bit, 2-3 hours at a time sometimes, going from table to table, entertaining as people come in and sit down and move along. So there are pros and cons of every type, but I don't want to eliminate possibilities for you. I want you to focus not on your age, but on your ability. Not on your age, but on your passion. Don't focus on a demographic and what's right or not right for the demographic. Focus on where your passion is and let that guide you. If you get into it, you find that you're not comfortable, you can always make a change. But Patrick, that's my 2 cents on being an older, and I am an older magician, and I've done birthday parties, and I've done grand illusion, and I've done corporate magic, and I've done restaurant magic, I've done walk around. So I've done a wide variety of types of magic, and at this point, having done so much of it, I really know what turns me on, what excites me, what I want to do, and that's what you should do also, and I hope you do. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you have not done so already. Please comment down below. Have a great day.